Your life has stages. That is, you are not the same person when you were a kid compared to being a teenager or compared to being an adult. And even then, you go through your own independent stages in life, which you have to define on your own. That is your responsibility and no one else's. These stages can depend on a variety of different factors, such as where you live, what you were going through at that moment, where you were learning, where you were working, who your friends were, etc. And if you don't believe me, then I'll argue with a quote by Carl Jung where he says, "You don't do what you did in the morning in the afternoon, nor do you do what you did in the afternoon in the morning." And in my own words, you don't do in summer what you do in winter, nor do you do in winter what you do in summer, right? Just think about wearing shorts, having a barbecue outside, and jumping into a pool in the middle of winter with snow outside and freezing cold weather. Or imagine wearing 2 sweaters and a jacket, making yourself a hot cup of coffee and covering up with a blanket when it is blazing hot outside in the middle of summer. Or imagine planting your seeds for your harvest during fall. Or imagine trying to collect your harvest in spring, right? Like right in the beginning. We need to understand that stages are a part of life and we must use them to our advantage. We must understand them, and that way we will be able to use them. You don't remain static and unchanged. What stage are you currently in right now? Have you identified it? Can you trace back all of your life stages from ever since you were a child? Do you remember when you first became conscious? Or do you remember when you first became conscious about being conscious? For me, for example, that was around the time I was 18. And that was the first time I was walking down a hallway and this guy was coming towards me at the end of the other hallway. And I was just like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna say good morning? Is the guy gonna say good morning to me? And I started thinking about, why am I thinking this? And that was the first time I became conscious. I think I was about 18, 19. The first time I became conscious was probably when I was like 6 or 7, even though I have some memories here and there from when I was like probably 5 or 6. But do you remember that? Do you remember the first time you became conscious that your consciousness and how you think, the way you view life, ultimately influence your life, make up a great portion of your life, right? Stages have to do with giving order to life. They have to do with the left hemisphere and the temporal dimension of life, just as you would when you plan your day or your week or your life. You also think about your past and put it in order to understand it. The zodiac signs, all scientific information, all religions are all examples of order. Why do you think the Freemasons orders are called orders? All knowledge is an attempt to try to organize our lives, and this includes the conclusions you can draw from your own life by yourself. In conclusion, you are not always the same. You change, evolve, adapt to the new contexts in which you find yourself in or put yourself in, whether consciously or unconsciously, right? Becoming aware of the changes you have made in your life and how they come about can help you to understand the future changes and the future ways, the hows in which you could come across those different forms of evolution and adaptation. So I think all of this is worth considering, because many people can say, well, I am the way I am, especially older people. We know that's their mentality. I am the way I am. I can't change. I'm not going to change. I don't care about things. And I'm not saying that you should always be changing. I'm just saying, look at the areas, look at the ways in which you have in the past, And based off those changes that you've made, whether conscious or unconsciously in the past, whether circumstantial or whether deliberate and intentional, you have still made them, right? And those ways in which you have done them in the past could probably help you for the future, right? We do need stability, we do need to be consistent, but we also need to be open to change once in a while, right? So that's all I got for this video. Hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. All right, peace.